2021 Honda Clarity. Just charged up the air conditioning, and as you can see, the outdoor ambient temperature is 58, 57 degrees, kind of popping around within that realm. Taking it right from the cowl. Now, if you come over here, the ambient temperature set right off the grill right here. I'm not getting the mixed air because it's not important right now because I'm not doing diagnosis. I'm just proving it's working. The ambient air temperature at this area right here looks like it's 60. It's popping around between 61 and 63 degrees. And it looks like out the dash is nice and steady. Now, if you remember in the last video, let's get that clear. Okay, if you remember in the last video, as the compressor was going through its cycles on and off, the air temperature was cycling and going down to 39 degrees, going up to 42 or 43 degrees, and it kept doing an up and down. So you would physically feel that on your face or your arm inside the car, and that's uncomfortable for some people when they feel that air blowing over them, and it's like that biting cold as it goes down to 39 degrees, but then it cycles off, and then the temperature raises to 43 degrees, and then down. And during that time of cycle down, when the compressor turns off, at that very moment, the evaporator starts warming up, and there's still warm air blowing over the evaporator. So all that water that has condensated and all those water droplets that are on the evaporator evaporate and go back into the car and raise the humidity every time it cycles off. In this case, this is a high voltage 3-phase compressor, and it's staying very steady. It's a very steady running and never cycles off. So the evaporator stays below its dew point, and it just stays there. And constantly it stays there without turning off. It's constantly removing humidity out of the air, keeping the inside occupants at a lower humidity. So if you're in a very warm climate with humidity, it helps lower the humidity at the same time instead of cycling off and on. This is one of the advantages of having a electric compressor that's like a VRF, big commercial compressor, instead of a compressor that just cycles on and off constantly. And I showed this in the last video. We can go back, and you could do the same thing. Let's go to look at the pressures and do the same thing. Pressures, and we'll record a pressure. Now what you will see here, I do not have the superheat because it's impossible for me to get my gauges, my temperature clamp. It's way down there for my liquid line to get a hold to, and the liquid line back here is just inaccessible anywhere. The only way I could get a clamp is I would have to go up underneath here and the plastic shield on. I would have to take off the plastic shield to get my clamp from up underneath, so I could take the subcooling, that's what I meant. And superheat I could get a hold of because I was able to get my clamp right off the expansion valve coming out of the evaporator back there, but subcooling I could not. So right now, take a look at the pressures, how steady the pressures are. It's just like almost a flat line, very little deviation. And this is how they achieve a very comfortable, smooth, constant temperature. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Time for me to fly. See ya.